How's it going, Magnetic Memory Method? This is Jonathan Levy here from BecomeASuperlearner.com, and my good friend Anthony Metivier is here off screen, and he has asked me to share some advice, some wisdom that I've accumulated in my years of biohacking and also leading one of the top health podcasts and interviewing some of the world's top health experts. And one of the things we wanted to share with you guys is the idea, you have all these memory techniques, you have all these learning strategies, but it's all for naught if you feel terrible. It's all for naught if you're doing things that are not conducive to your brain health. So Anthony asked me to share some of the top tips and some of the things that I've also shared with him in our kind of journeys together, as he mentors me with memory palaces and I mentor him with some of the health stuff that you can do to really get the most out of your brain. Now, when it comes down to anything health, there's really only three factors, and those are nutrition, fitness, and sleep. I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by any of that. But the problem with all of these things is that there is so much contradictory and just flat out wrong advice. So I want to break down a couple misconceptions for you guys. The first one is not all health food is created the same. And as Anthony can very, very closely attest for you guys, you might think that eating whole grains or eating tofurkey and tofu meat alternatives is good for your health, but it is most certainly not. From your brain's perspective, what you want is a high-fat diet. What you want is a low glycemic index diet. So stay away from all those mangoes and watermelons and bananas. It might have a lot of vitamins. It does have a lot of vitamins, but from your brain's perspective, you're just hitting your brain with a ton of glucose. And Anthony and I can both attest that your brain does much better in a state called ketosis, which is where your body is burning fat. Even in a fasted state, it's going into ketosis, and that's going to provide a lot more clarity. It feels like drinking 2 cups of coffee without the jitters when you go from these energy peaks of eating cereal or whole grain bread or pasta that makes you feel like this, and we've all felt that, to eating slow burning fats and high protein meals. So I recommend you guys on that check out anything involving the paleo solution. The paleo diet is a really great starting point. Second point I wanted to talk about here is exercise. And obviously, by the way, also on diet, staying away from processed foods, staying away from junk. I think one great rule that I've heard is if God made it, eat it. If man made it, throw it away. Tofurkey is not something that your body knows how to handle, and all these wonderful stevia infused, all that stuff is highly suspect. So try to stay with something that's as natural and as minimally processed as you possibly can. Your brain will thank you. The next step, as I said, is exercise and dialing in, and I think another huge misconception here is that you need to get on the treadmill and run an hour and a half to have this great physique. And in fact, that is not true. What is most advantageous both for your body and for your mind are high intensity intervals, HIIT. These intense periods, whether they're sprints have been shown to increase testosterone, and endorphins, which get your body focused, get you dialed in, or whether it's CrossFit, intensity, lifting weights, jumping rope, and then taking breaks. These short, intense bursts of exercise are not something that we were all told growing up. We were all told, go out and run 6 miles, go out and train for a marathon, go out and swim 2 kilometers. But in fact, those things are not so great for you from an endocrine health perspective. And also, they don't give you the same endorphin response, the same increase in your VO2, and so on and so forth. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're not exercising, any exercise is better. And by the way, exercise reinforces learning. Short sessions of exercise after you practice your magnetic memory techniques are going to do incredible things for your learning and capability. But even if you are exercising, I want you to consider that spending an hour on an exercise bike might not be the best thing for you. And while I'm a huge advocate of yoga, getting your heart rate up at 85% of your capacity for even just a few minutes at a time is really what's going to give you that much healthier benefit head to toe. And then the third thing that I want to talk to you guys is sleep. And you would hope that you don't need to lecture people about sleep. We all know that sleep's important. But the reality of it is once again, there is so much misinformation out there. So many people who think, I need to sleep 8 hours. Well, that's wrong. You need to sleep in multiples of 90 minutes or you'll wake up feeling tired. So 9 hours is great, 7.5 hours is great, 8 hours not so much. And I see so many people, and I have so many people writing into me who have no idea that even just a little bit of light in your bedroom can completely throw off your sleep. And any of you who've done any kind of cursory neuroscience know that getting high quality sleep, REM sleep, is where your brain moves memories from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. So you can have all the memory techniques in the world, but if your sleep is disturbed many times a night by traffic or your partner, because you have a mattress that shifts every time your partner moves, or you have light coming into your bedroom in the morning and you're cutting 3 hours off your high quality sleep, all of these things can so dramatically ruin your cognitive performance, not just in your alertness. Obviously, if you're tired, you're going to feel pretty bad and you're not going to be able to use these techniques, but also in your brain's actual ability to make new neuronal connections, to create new synapses, and actually move things into memory. And I know that's the goal. None of us want to learn for the short term, remembering things in that same day. We want to learn for long term. That's why we use these mnemonic techniques. So those are a few really quick health tips. I'm always here as a resource. Anyone who is a friend of Anthony's is a friend of mine. And I encourage you guys, if you want to learn more about this stuff, I have a free podcast. Anthony has actually been a guest on it a number of times. And just invest in your health the same way that you guys have invested in learning these little known memory techniques that make you 20 to 30 times more effective. So too are there techniques for improving your sleep, improving your exercise, improving your diet. And it's a miracle to me that these things aren't commonly known, but just these small adjustments, cutting out the sugary fruit and moving your bedroom towards a colder temperature, checking your bedding, stuff like that. These things can make magnitudes of difference in your health, in your physique, in your attitude, in your mood, everything that you can possibly imagine, and of course also improve your memory. So invest the time, guys. I know all of you have a ton of wonderful learning skills that Anthony has taught you. Invest the time in learning a little bit about your physiology and the things that you can do to maximize it. And just stay learning. Remember that if you stop learning, you start dying. So take care, guys, and thanks for checking in.